adjusted for height. Hi, everybody. Sindhuja here. I represent FIDE, Foundation for Interoperability in Digital Economy. Those of you here who heard Sujit Nair in the morning would know what FIDE represents and what Beacon Protocol is all about. So I'm going to take a little zoomed out view of and a very small slice of what is possible with open transaction networks based on an open protocol like Beacon. Basically, the theme I am focusing on is tackling old challenges and new ones with a concept like open transaction networks based on Beacon, which is a bit of a zoomed out view of what is possible when we're talking about digital economy today. So we're talking in terms of having an estimated 70% estimated new value created purely through digital in the coming years. And this is corroborated a few times by the World Bank, by World Economic Forum. There are enough numbers that substantiate the value, the multi-trillion dollar value that's going to come from digital economy. But what we believe is this is still just scratching the surface. This is probably a gross underestimation of what is possible with digital economy, the number of jobs it can create, the number of opportunities it can open up, the impact it can have on lives and livelihoods across sectors. And this is something Beacon Protocol is already enabling across geographies and across sectors. So yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. The green one. Okay. Yeah. So this is what I was referring to in terms of what lies ahead of us, and all economic activity today is based on billions of online interactions between people, organizations, processes, data, devices, machines across the world. And the backbone of all of this is the connectivity or hyperconnectivity between all of these entities. But this is still a siloed effort within an organization or within a country, within a particular value chain. What if we were able to further interconnect all of these siloed digital economies that have been built on the internet, which was born open, right? And that is what we are doing with Beacon. With Beacon, we have already unlocked, with just 3 years of its existence, a value of $60 million plus. This is estimated value across all of these sectors. And what, like I said, if we were able to further do this by using an underlying common fabric or infrastructure like Beacon. You see some of the sectors here. I'm going to talk a little bit more about some of those. But this is what we have been able to unlock, and how does Beacon do that? So these are some, I'm not going to delve into all of those. These are some live implementations, ongoing pilots, and global explorations, early stages as well, across geographies, across sectors that we might deem as old and solved, but we are still figuring it out and unlocking value, increasing the size of the market, not talking about a small pie, as well as new, which is in the area of sustainability, energy, and climate action. All of this is ongoing efforts in terms of pilots and implementations. But what I want to highlight here is, yes, you can solve old problems with new approaches, new challenges with new approaches, but these further lead to new problems and new questions that need to be answered. So we are also collaborating with academic institutions, with our ecosystem partners. We have Project Liberty here. One particular, academic collaboration I want to highlight is in the area of security and governance with the ITU Copenhagen University, which is, when you don't have a centralized setup, how then do you deal with questions on security and governance in an open federated setup? These are important questions. We don't claim all the questions are answered. We are also figuring it out as we go along. But efforts are being put in a building block approach with all of our partners. And there are a couple of implementations that I want to talk about, one from the old, one from the new, just to highlight how open transaction networks can have a multiplier effect in unlocking value in digital economies. Again, I'm calling it old with quotes. all of us know enough about, I think, or would have heard enough about ONDC. I don't want to dwell into it. The Open Network for Digital Commerce, which enables hyperlocal commerce and delivery in India. We went back and asked ourselves, what if we were to redo this? If we were to start ONDC all over again in India, would we take a different approach? Or if we had to do an ONDC-like setup or initiative in another geography, in Netherlands, would we use our playbook but still, apply different methods, obviously applying to the local context? And here, leading the charge is Atomical. We have Mohit here from the organization, who is being the central facilitator authority on the ground, getting together local entrepreneurs, local delivery services in the form of bike couriers and others, because the whole objective of this initiative is how can you encourage local entrepreneurship, reduce carbon footprint in the geography for online commerce by encouraging transactions within the neighborhood, reduce vehicular traffic, reduce distance required for fetching and delivering products and so on. So this is a very ONDC-like implementation in a new geography where we are also learning and relearning some of what we have applied in India. And, we hope to see the similar kind of traction there. An example of tackling new challenges with new approaches is, of course, what this whole forum is also all about: sustainability, energy, and climate action. We have explorations underway in a number of areas. The interesting ones are one about can we use schools, which are actually physical hub or a physical haven in times of disasters, in times of crisis like floods. In the west coast of US, we're looking at a couple of cities. Can we look at look at schools as being also the digital hub in terms of providing emergency services, information, products, and resources to the citizens in the area? And this is, again, based on open networks, bringing together a number of providers in the area. Another one that is ongoing is in the area of climate data. Can we look at data sets itself as a resource and leverage that for things like anticipatory humanitarian aid for, say, drought-prone or flood-prone areas, for flood prediction data to warn farmers or citizens in a particular area, more preventive, more value-creating than post-reactive effort. So these are just a couple of examples. I'm sure Sujit must have spoken about the overall energy initiative that we've undertaken in India. We're exploring this outside of India as well, so I don't want to go too much into it. But these are just a couple of initiatives in the area of new that we are seeing open networks play a strong key role in. And I just want to end by saying the possibilities are endless. There are limitless possibilities for transformative change. And if you can imagine the future and imagine a sustainable future, it is possible to unlock enormous value because the potential is equivalent to the scale of the internet, billions to the order of trillion transactions a day, multi-trillion transaction value unlocked simply by leveraging an open infrastructure that all of us can collaborate on. And then who can build on Beacon? It's just anybody, individuals, startups, private, public institutions, government bodies. So, we are here, and all of what I spoke about, all of what Sujit might have spoken about is not our doing. It is because of working with the ecosystem. So we invite you to come talk to us. My colleagues will be talking further about Beacon as a protocol itself and about how we are building a community. So I will end with this. Thank you.
Thank you very much.